Alright, so I've played the Battlefield beta after yesterday's bullshit of it being hacked by Poodle Corp. I finally got onto it today and actually did decent with the Russian, is it the Russian? Yeah, the Russian 1855. I want to say, I can't really remember the guns off by heart. But yeah, it's a lever action. It's pretty decent. You get it when you're the when you choose to be the cavalry class, or you can actually buy it with war bonds, which I'll get onto in a minute, as a actual sniper rifle, so you get the scope on it. Moving on to the war bonds. If you don't know what war bonds are, basically they're like it's basically the currency in Battlefield. So say if I wanted a pistol, for instance, you would have to use the war bonds you get from leveling up to then go and buy that pistol, which for me it's different than what the other Battlefields have been like. Obviously with Battlefield 4 you would just level up, get the weapon, use that weapon. Hardline, it changed. You would any points you would get during the game during hardpoint would actually change into cash, which you could use to then go on and buy weapons, attachments, cosmetics, anything like that, equipment, things like that. So yeah, I think this version of the way you buy things is a lot more cooler, because I think every level you get 90 war bonds, if I'm right. So you then use those war bonds, as I said, to go buy whatever you want. At the moment you can't buy a lot of things. You can't get what is it, I forgot what it's called now, attachments. So in the beta there isn't any, you can't customize your weapons at the moment in the beta, which you know, it is really annoying, but obviously DICE wanted to save that and you know, bring it into the full game. So when you get to the full game, it's like, so this is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to customize your weapons. We don't want to show this in the beta because we wanted it to be a much more, I don't know how you would put it, cooler experience when you actually get into the game. Obviously back in World War 1 there wasn't a lot of customization you could do. You couldn't put a holographic sight on your weapon. You know, you didn't have them back then. You would have probably just a normal scope or a iron sights. You know, you didn't have everything back then. You couldn't put on well, I'm guessing in the game you can't put on like crazy colors on your weapons, like pink or something like that. I mean, if they did that, it would really ruin the atmosphere for Battlefield. What they've been trying to go for is realism with this game, and for me they've really hit that on the top of their head with a nail. They hit the nail on the top of the head. You know, the gameplay is absolutely amazing. Every time I play this game I really enjoy it. At the start of it I hated it. I really did not like it, because it didn't really feel like Battlefield until I really started to play it, and then for some reason it started to feel a bit like Star Wars Battlefront. Obviously Battlefront and Battlefield are made by the same people, but yeah, it kind of felt like Battlefront, which for me, you know, it's weird and it's cool at the same time. But I digress. Moving on, we'll talk about the vehicles in the game. The tanks are some of the most OP things I've ever seen in the game, which is really what I wanted, just because, you know, back in World War 1 these tanks were the things that were you know, pushing the front line and pushing the enemies back through the trenches. You know, in the first tank we saw was from the British, and you know, that really changed the scape of our future, if I'm honest. You know, we wouldn't have tanks like we do now. Tanks back then were just massive you know, pieces of metal, just massive pieces of metal with that could move. You know, it really did change the face of the war and change the face of our history. If we didn't have them, who knows where we'd be today. So in this, I think it's really cool that they've made them such an OP thing, not OP, a big force in the Battlefield. I mean, moving up the when you're playing Rush, say for instance you want to capture A. If you were to have a tank on A, it would be really hard to take it out unless you had the anti-tank rifle or another tank just as powerful as the one that's on A. You know, so yeah, sometimes it can be you know, very frustrating when you're the enemy team trying to defend A or B and you have one of these massive fat tanks just, you know, sitting on top of the telegraph that you have to take out. Gun gameplay wise, I guess you could say it like that. The weapons, to me, they all feel pretty balanced. The pistol, I think, you know, it's okay. I reckon it could use a bit of a buff. I mean, I've put so many bullets into one guy and just been completely, you know, bullet sponged. He takes all the bullets. and then somehow still kills me, which can get really annoying. There's still trading in this game. If you don't know what trading is, I don't know how they would ever take it out though. You know, I think it's something to do with the lag or something like that. But trading is basically where you kill each other at the same time. So it's something to do with the connection, I'm pretty sure. And so I don't know whether they were going to take it out or leave it in. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure on any of that. But yeah, the game Rush just feels as good as it used to. And Battlefield 4. I used to be a huge Battlefield 4 fan. I used to play it as much as I did Black Ops 3. I can't remember. Battlefield Hardline I had in the beta and Battlefield Hardline. I'm pretty sure I had like a 3 KD, which is amazing. That game, when I first played it, the game was amazing, and then I slowly got to realize once you got to the end and you had all the weapons and you had everything, there was nothing else to do. Just kind of like the same with Battlefront. But then they did introduce the customization, or is it the gun bench or something like that? Yeah, but then you just have people running around with pink, yellow outfits and things like that, which to me got really stupid. You would have to have, I think you had to have premium to actually use the weapon bench or something like that, the gun bench, which for me was really that's really stupid. Obviously you have premium this year as well for Battlefield. Off the top of my head, I can't remember how many DLCs there are for this game, but I think in the DLC they're introducing the Russians and the French. I'm not sure, are they? I'll have to look at that. But yeah, I think they'll be introducing those two. They played a massive part in World War One, especially the French. So yeah, hopefully we will get to see those two and their vehicles. That, I think, if they had vehicles specifically to their nation, that would be pretty cool. And I would really like to see a map where it's trenches only, you know, trench warfare. That's what you know, in this game they didn't really want to, they did, but they didn't really want to focus every map around trench warfare, as you know, most of the battles in World War One did take place in trenches, but obviously they still had battles, you know, in Africa. The British were in Africa, I think. So yeah, they did have battles elsewhere. I mean, just as you can see from this gameplay, you have the British versus the Ottoman Empire in a desert, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I really can't wait for the DLC. I'm not 100% sure if I will get the season pass, just because, you know, Infinite Warfare with COD 4 remastered, but you know, only time will tell. Overall, the beta has been really buggy for some reason. Well, obviously every beta is buggy. It's a pre-alpha build. Is this pre-alpha build? I'm not sure. It might be. But yeah, it's been really buggy. It takes really long to load into games, which is annoying. Like, as soon as you die and then you try to spawn back in, it takes a long time just to spawn in, either as a cavalry member, as a medic, scout, engineer. Is it engineer? To be honest, I've completely lost I can't remember everything. But yeah, it definitely takes a long time to load in. Maybe that's just something to do with the beta. I'm not 100% sure, but hopefully that's fixed. I'm hoping that they extend the beta by 1 day, just because of what happened with Poodle Corp yesterday, which might be cool. You know, as you did see with Black Ops, they extended that beta just because it went so well. They extended it, which was cool. So maybe they'll do a similar thing. But yeah, so far I'm having a blast with Battlefield. I didn't think I would like it as much as I had, but like, as I said at first, I didn't really like it at all. And then, you know, I slowly got into it and realized it doesn't feel like Battlefield 4. You know, I wanted it to feel like Battlefield 4, but I realized it doesn't feel like Battlefield 4, which I think is a good thing. You know, you don't want to keep going back to the same thing like Call of Duty does. With this, it feels different. You know, you don't have all these fully automatic assault rifles or LMGs running around. Obviously you do have some of that in this, but they're not the same as what you have in Battlefield. Like, you have your carbines and your huge LMGs. In this, it's more, it does feel kind of slower paced than Battlefield 4 did, but I think that's a really good thing. But yeah, Battlefield, the beta has been a pretty good success so far. I'm having a huge ton of fun with it. Yeah, I'm having fun with it. Yeah, the weapons are amazing, the vehicles are great, the map looks great, the visuals are amazing. So yeah, this was a really long video, so I hope you did enjoy it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and watch the next one. Thanks.